Friends. How many of us got them? Friends. Ones we can depend on. Friends. How many of us got them? Friends. Ones we can depend on. Friends. About 2 days ago, I had decided to do this video, and my mind went back to the fact that I've been trying for a year and a half, approximately, trying to do this same video. The story I was going to use was the thing that was going to be different. And the way I remembered it was when I thought of singing this song for the intro. And then I reminded myself, yeah, you planned on doing this video. I wasn't going to use the same story, but the message was going to be pretty much the same. So let me get into it so you'll know what I'm talking about. I would say about maybe 3 years now, I've stopped being friends with somebody that I viewed at the time that was I felt very close to and aligned with, because a lot of her beliefs and my beliefs were the same, or so I thought at the time. I met her maybe early part of 2000, I would say. The time I met her, we were at the gym, and we were at this local gym by both of our houses. That was very cheap and very affordable, and her and her daughter would go into the gym and work out. Now her daughter was probably about maybe 7 or 9 at the time, and I and her were about the same size. We were like chubby girls, not quite fat, but on that tip of being fat, or that tip of being skinny if we lost the weight. Not skinny, but healthy, a healthy size. So we knocked it off real well and everything. And at the time, she was the one that had the car. So after a while, she would, ask me, well, where do you live? I could take you here, take you there. So she would take me closer to my house, or sometimes to my house if she could. So we got really close, and we started talking about our lives, and the things that we believed in, and people in our lives, and friends and stuff like that. And we got to the part where she would call me once in a while, and she would tell me, some of the things that were happening her life and her friend's life, and tell me her opinion on it. She mainly talked a lot about what was happening in her friend's life, and a lot of it, she had more than one friend. She had about 2 or 3 close friends, and a lot of it she didn't necessarily agree with, and so she would vocal it to me, and a lot of what she said was sound and made sense. So I would ask her, you ever said it to them? Oh no, no. It's hard to explain to people who think they know it all and got it all together. I said, well, maybe what you have to say they will listen to it, because a lot of what you're saying makes sense and it's sound advice. So maybe they'll listen to some. She just never wanted to do that. As time went on, we would talk at least every week, at least once or twice a week. And I think it was mostly on the weekends at first, and then it came to the weekdays. But she was like a constant in my life. So over time, of course, I said to her, we should do something together. We should do this, should do that. And I would be the one who would go ahead and push the fact that we should meet and go ahead and have a meal together or go somewhere. And she would always come out with some excuse, but it always had to deal with her child, or she had to go to work or what have you. It always made sense. So from there, years passed by, and we were still good friends. And she would call me, and after a while she started cussing. and talking about other people's lives, her friends' lives still, but she started kind of cussing. And she would always take over and dominate the conversation. And I would always allow her. I don't think I realized that I was allowing her until it became too much. She would call me, and sometimes I couldn't get to the phone quick enough to answer. Maybe I was using the bathroom or dealing with something with a family member, what have you. And I'd call her back right away. It'd be like maybe a minute. She wouldn't answer the phone. And this kept on going on till I realized this wasn't no accident. She was doing that on purpose. It was kind of like a penalized type of thing. It's during our last years of friendship where I kind of pushed it, where I got a few words in edgewise, and I got to kind of talk about my life and what I was doing. So much to the fact that she would start off with sometimes, oh, so what's going on with you, or what's this, or what's that. And so I'd give my opinion on things and tell her what was going on with me. And again, once in a while, I would ask her, well, let's meet, and stuff like this. And I would always get the same response. But I let it go because I guess my mentality at the time was, what's not broke, don't fix it. I didn't realize I was allowing her to do what I've allowed all the friends that I've had to do to me. And that was dump all their problems, their information, their feelings on me. And I took it all in. All the while, I ended up being a phone friend to some of these ladies. And I didn't realize till when I was thinking about this video that I had a pattern of women that I met that had some needs. And the basic needs that weren't being met is that people weren't listening to them or paying them any mind. So they had me to do that. And so when we met up on the phone, because it wasn't, anywhere else, I was able to deliver that need or help them with that need that they wanted, that closeness and somebody to just listen to them. So once we got off the phone, they were fine, but I wasn't. The same thing, the same reaction, and the same action that they were taking with me and the friendship that we are having is the same thing that I said I would not ever allow a man to do. I would never allow a man to just monopolize the conversation. Whether it's a man that I'm just dating for the first time or I'm getting to know. I'm a heterosexual woman. I like men. So it's certain things. I already have my rules and regulations for them. I would never have a man just constantly talk about particular people over and over again and not do anything about it, not have a plan to where this is going to be different and change, and just constantly. I would never have a man just talk to me on the phone and never want to go out with me or take me out. So why was I allowing this woman and other women to do that? I don't know why. What happened is a couple years ago, before this, and you would think this would be a good red flag for me, you guys. Too nice for my own good. I'm glad I'm not as too nice as before. I'm still a nice person, but I'm not playing the dumb girl role. And you do not have to be a blonde to play the dumb girl role. Anyway, a couple years ago, we were on the phone talking and what have you. And she called me, chit-chatting and having a good old time. And I guess her daughter came in the room. And she kind of got a real attitude with the daughter. And I was like, I wonder why she's yelling at her like that. All she did was come in the room that you were in. She's like, I told you not to come in here. I told you, I wanted my privacy. I told you not to come in here. And while she's going at the daughter, I hear a baby cry. And I said to her, I hear a baby. Is that your baby? She said, yes. Now, family, it takes a person 9 months to have a baby, right? She never once said to me, Marissa, I am pregnant. I met somebody. None of that. at that point, she did tell me that she had met somebody and was kind of telling me this a little part of the story. But I didn't know she met him like 9 months plus ago, and they were having a baby type of thing. I was in shock. I mean, I was floored. First of all, I didn't realize it at the time because I'm thinking, like, why is she lying? We're supposed to be friends, right? So why didn't you just tell me? Well, the reason why is because the same thing that she did, ended up getting pregnant with somebody she's not married to, is the same thing that she was preaching and talking about her other friends doing, and how stupid and crazy they were. Instead of getting an education or worrying about their health, they're worrying about these men and running behind these men. And the same thing that happened to them happened to her. I didn't say anything. She didn't really say anything. And I just let it sweep under the floor. And I should have never let it sweep under the floor. In my mind, that was her business. Yeah, that was her business. But I was supposed to be her friend. And if somebody's my friend, I'm going to hope and think that they're not going to judge me too harshly. And they're going to respect, that this is my choice and this is my body. And they're also going to support me some type of way. She just didn't want me to know, because she had already carved out a part of her life that she wanted me in. She wanted me in this particular box, and that's where I sat, and that's where I will be. You think that would be the end? No. We talked again some couple of years, and we were talking and stuff, and I kept getting little red flags here and there. One time she had asked me, I think, for my Facebook, or we decided to exchange Facebook information. So I had her, she had mine. And so she was talking about one particular picture that I had where, just being funny, and I had a little funny little face like this on one of my pictures. So I noticed that it was this particular guy in her on her Facebook page that seemed to have a little crush on her or what have you. And I was just, laugh and stuff like that. I didn't pay attention or notice that it wasn't much of anything else going on her Facebook page, because with my Facebook page, it wasn't much going on either. And I just figured it was because she had a busy lifestyle. So when I was talking to her about the guy, we laughed and everything. She said, oh yeah, that's my overflow room, my Facebook. That's my second one. The other one has my friends and family over there. But that's the one that, I let everybody else be at. So I'm not part of, we've been talking, I think we stopped talking maybe, wait, 2013, 2014. And from that to the early part of 2000. So we weren't friends. I couldn't be part of the friends and family part. I'm the one that you called almost every week, maybe sometimes twice a week, telling me your woes and your problems. So how did I not get into the first Facebook page with everybody else? Okay, I digress. I started after a while feeling some type of way. But I got so used to this girl in my life that it was hard for me to just cut her off. Moreover, I also got used to some of the stories she would tell. And after a while, when somebody keeps telling you stuff, you kind of feel a connection towards it. And I know it wasn't a necessarily organic connection that I was feeling, but I was still feeling that connection. Okay, so I'm going to try to speed this up, you guys. So we got to the part where I kind of was feeling a little bit used, and I didn't totally blame her. I blamed myself too for allowing myself to, but I know this was a lesson. Somehow God was trying to teach me a lesson. So what I started doing is when she would call, I would answer her calls like normal, like always. But after a while, I would, I think I started ending them after a while. Instead of her saying, okay, well, I'm going to get off the phone, I had something to do, I would say, after I see it dwindling down, okay, girl, I'm going to get off the phone, I got me something to do, I'll talk to you later. And she would call, and I would do that a couple of times. Then I started allowing the phone to ring once, and I'll just let it ring and I wouldn't answer it. And then I noticed that she would call back later on in the day because I wasn't calling her back at all. That was the first thing I told myself, don't call her at all, because you already know she's not going to answer it, especially if you call her back right away, because she's penalizing you for some reason. So I stopped calling her. I would end the calls, and then what happened after a while, I stopped taking her first calls. Maybe I wouldn't hear from her that day after she called, and that would be fine. Most of the time, she'd always call back. And I would listen to her and stuff like that. But I made sure I got my problems and my issues in. And I kind of dumped a little bit of stuff on her. I didn't have a whole lot to dump, but what I did, I dumped right on there. And so me and her would talk and chat it up and stuff like this. She noticed it. And I noticed she noticed it because she said something smart about my health. I was having health issues at the time, and she didn't know that I was taking care of business because I wasn't talking to her. So she didn't know that when I had my time off with her, not answering her phone calls, I was taking care of Marissa. So she called me and she said, "Oh, how you doing?" I said, "Fine." "So how's your so-and-so?" I said, "Oh, girl, it's great. I just went to the doctor and he said blah, blah, blah. And this is what I'm doing. And I joined Weight Watchers and blah, 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 blah." And you could hear like a pin drop and like no sound. And I know that I started her. She wasn't expecting that because all the time she was preaching to me about what I needed to do for my health, which is true. So I said all this to say this. What you want, and you say you want in your personal life with a man or woman, whoever you are with, you should also want it in your friendship life too. Don't take from people anything that they're giving out, especially when you know you're a good person and you're a good friend. Expect that back. And what you need to do, what I've learned to do, is I need to give people a chance to be a good friend to me. I don't need to just readily do everything in my powers to make them comfortable and happy. And then when they're not able to do that right away for me, then I'm like, oh, she's using me, or she's a bad friend, or what have you. I had to learn a lot of lessons. And I realized doing this video that I've been learning this same lesson over and over with different types of female friends. One part, because I'm the type of person, I prefer not to be in a group of friends. The groups to me always get messy. I'm more of an individual person, and I like to deal, or I used to like to deal one-on-one in a relationship with a person. Now I would rather deal with maybe a couple of, maybe 2 or 3 people that are really good friends, that are like-minded, and we can talk about issues and bounce different thoughts and stuff off of each other. I'm more open to more than one person now, but I'm also open to allowing people to be a good friend to me. And no more phone friends in my life. I do not need one more phone friend. And it's funny, in a relationship, a guy couldn't do this to me, but a woman, so no more phone friends. When I see it coming to that, I will warn them and I will say, I don't do phone friends. If that's what you're looking for, that's what you need right now, I don't mind talking to you sometimes or giving you some advice, but most of the time you ain't gonna get me, because that's just not what I'm looking for. So I say all this to say that want what's best, want the best things for yourself. Want good things for yourself, just like you would want it for the other person. I found myself wanting good things for other people, but not really wanting it or thinking that I deserved it. And I didn't realize that because I have so much confidence in myself. But confidence is not always 100%. Sometimes it's somewhere in your relationship or somewhere in you that you're lacking a little bit of. I thank you guys for watching. I love you. Smooches and peace. I talk to talk. But I hope you got something out of this video and the message. Smooches. Bye-bye, loves.